About a month ago, I was interviewing for a elementary principal position here in the district, Chester M. Stevens Elementary School, um, and once I received word that I got the job, then came the decision of having to step down as varsity coach. And I'm also a second-year doctoral student at Seton Hall in their K-12 administration program. So to try to juggle all three, a new position as a principal, there's a lot of added responsibilities, and for me it was to be able to do both jobs effectively and dedicate as much time as should be dedicated. It came down to having to step away from basketball.
Just talk about the 4-year run you had. You've brought Mount Olive to heights it's never known. 3 straight appearances in the county final, winning the county final in unbelievable fashion. Just talk about the 4-year run.
Yeah, the words that I use when people ask about my tenure there is really it was a magical time for us. And I've always said that it's the players that make the program, not the coach. And we provided a framework, but the players are the ones that put in the time, and they were the ones that spent all summer long. So, and we've just been fortunate to have a few back-to-back classes that have been filled with kids that are dedicated. And so they've been year-round participants, whether it's lifting, running, conditioning, and then shooting all summer long. We've just been fortunate that players have been dedicated.
And just talk about when you came here, you employed that system at first 5 in, 5 out, and a real high paced, and not many people had seen it around here. Just talk about the thought of bringing that in. And you still ran into a little bit, but you definitely adjusted over the years.
Right, right. And I've always been a believer in that a coach should adjust their philosophy to whatever players that they have. So coming in, I had always been a fan of fast break basketball and pressing, and all my teams have done that throughout the course of my coaching career. We had a lot of kids that were cookie cutter, we called them. They were very similar height, size. They could all shoot the ball a little bit. And I decided that this was an opportunity for us to try something different with these players because we did have 12 or 14 of them. And that's how the system came about. And obviously, as the years have gone on, we've adjusted according to personnel. So if you have 2 kids 6'8", you're not going to be all out. You want those guys on the floor together, not separate on 2 separate units. So we made some adjustments, but the core, the fundamental philosophy remained the same.
You mentioned you had some very special players over the years, Zach Heeman being one. Just talk about what Zach meant to the program and the school. I mean, he's going to Rutgers to play football.
Right. Zach has meant everything to our program, and in terms of his just the young man that he is, and his leadership attributes are what have really led the program. The younger players look to him, and he has set such a tremendous example of dedication and hard work, and not only that, but academically, how to carry yourself on and off the court is something that is truly invaluable. And he has set that tone and set that example for the younger players on how they need to act. And that's something that is a lasting legacy.
And another guy, Rashawn Spencer, maybe the greatest putback in the history of Mount Olive basketball when you guys beat Morristown in the county championship. Just your reflections on that game and what Rashawn meant to you guys.
Like Zach, Rashawn was also a tremendous leader in our program. And he had a penchant as the years progressed that he started to become more comfortable in the bigger games, and we always had that phrase that we would use in the locker room of big time players make big time plays in big time games. And as the years went on, and obviously that culminated in this past year with Rashawn, making the biggest play in the biggest game and in the county championship. There was no question, I think, anyone on our bench, that when we saw there was less than 8 seconds left, that Rashawn was going to have the ball in his hands and he was going to make the final play. And I think that, that was just one of the most spectacular games I've ever been a part of.
And just talk about, obviously Ryan Traub had a great career for you, but some of the kids coming back, obviously the cupboard is not bare.
No, not at all. I think the next coach will be pleasantly surprised with the level of talent. And again, that belongs to the players. That they're the ones that have put in that time, And I think guys like Dante Wise is going to have a tremendous year next season. Chris Grillo returns. Anthony Varone, who unfortunately hurt his knee this year, he was out most of the year. He'll return next year as a senior, and he was a starter as a sophomore on the championship team. Jason Drury has had a tremendous spring AAU season. He's going to be a heck of a player as a junior, along with Brandon Hood, who's another player that played a lot of varsity this year, played in a lot of big games, and has a lot of experience. So I think that they have a nice core group coming back.
How would you sum up the last 4 years?
It was just a great experience. It was just, as far as not only winning the games but the support from the community and our school community, as well as the community at large of Mount Olive, has just been. It was truly a special time, and something that's just an unforgettable experience for me.